Today on Pull Start Stables, we are going for broke with springtime cuttings. Hey everybody, I just spent a few minutes and took some cuttings. I have red osier dogwood, I have mulberry, I have box elder. Now, box elder, it's not a great wood for having a forest or woods or things to cut or burn, but it's great for wildlife. It also reproduces very easily, very well. So I am going to kind of randomly, kind of strategically place just large amounts of these cuttings today. I have no idea how many I have. Last year I planted quite a bit, like 100 cuttings, and they all did very well until a drought came and they didn't make it. So I'm starting over. I have this little brush pile behind me, which should kind of help to protect the roots as they grow, protect the stems as they're starting to sprout, and also as this brush decomposes, it'll just help feed the roots the nutrients they need. So let's get to work. It's very wet out here, and I also have these cuttings in, I'm going to be placing them in an area where hopefully more drainage happens than not. So anytime there is runoff from the fields around, I'm picking kind of low spots so they will stay moist. I'm also doing this right now because it's middle of winter, but it's kind of spring-like conditions. It's warm, the ground is soft. And I've got a couple minutes to burn. So what I'm going to be doing is just sticking probably all of each cutting in each area, giving it all a little bit of a different chance to grow, and see what happens. I'm just shoving it into the ground. Some of these feel like they're going pretty far. Some of them don't feel like they're going very far at all. But I'm gonna shoot for about that far. Perfect. So this little area here is my red osier dogwoods. I'll stick some mulberries over there maybe, and the box elders over here, and see what happens. These box elders, half of them I cut, half of them I just snapped off. But box elder is a wood that if you cut it down and you have logs 16 inches long or whatever, and you don't burn it quick, it'll just start to sprout right out of those dead logs. So I'm not really worried about what it looks like as long as I can get it into the ground. I didn't even notice, look at this, I've got a tree already growing in this area, which is cool. I want this to be dense. I want birds to populate here. I want them to perch and drop more seeds of whatever they ate. And just let the wildlife flourish. This box elder, if you top a tree, just cut it off, it will just resprout. And all of that regeneration is great browse and great cover for wildlife. Hopefully deer and rabbits, maybe some other birds and game birds will also appreciate the area. I've seen turkeys, but none of them ever last. I'm not expecting all of these to survive. I hope they do. But if they don't, that's kind of why I'm just doing so many. Last year I did small quantities, and I do believe that maybe some of them could have survived if I would have just planted more. So we're giving them all another chance at life. Now here's one for you. Deer love this stuff. And I don't know if you've ever tried it or not, but it's kind of like a bitter, sour apple, maybe. It's got a little bit of maybe like a tobacco-y flavor. I don't chew, I don't smoke, but it's got that earthy taste, I guess. But there's some sweets to it, and that is what the deer do, is just chew on it. And it's got, I don't know if it's like a nutrient that they need and they know it, or if it just tastes good to them, but it definitely attracts them. And hopefully what I'm doing is creating something for them to snack on to keep them here on the property, but also give them cover eventually. I would love to have big thickets and in areas where it's convenient for me for hunting and even just watching. I really like to see the wildlife flourish, so hopefully they will continue to do that more and more in this area, especially as across the street I see more orange flags and stakes in a field. So pretty soon we'll be losing more ag land to another house, which happens. But as I'm trying to progress wildlife and natural resources, everywhere around me is just getting eaten up by homes. It's a fact of life, I guess, but we have to deal with it. Whoa. I think someone found the tannerite. Now this is a site where last year I did throw some red osier dogwoods, and I can still see them sticking in the ground, but they never really took. So I'm gonna try it again. We have a quite high water table here. I stabbed a well and I think I was down 13 feet maybe, and I can pump water out fairly easily. And right now our sump pump is running like crazy. And all of this used to be ag land, and I've converted 6 acres into this grass. I guess by being negligent, just letting it grow, but also by planting some switchgrass, by throwing seeds here and there when I have them. Walnuts, osage, orange, anything that might just naturally pop up. And even if it's something that isn't good for browse, hopefully maybe it's something that someday a bird will perch on, poop out a seed, and something that is tasty will grow. There. Bucket's running low. Some of these low spots are from us screwing around, spinning tires. Some of them are just from washouts. And I do believe this is one of those washouts. So this might not be the lowest spot on the ground, but there are trenches here that water seems to travel in. So I'm gonna just load it up. I'll make this my last spot. And hopefully I'll be able to check it here in a couple of months, 3-4 months maybe, and see if there's any update. Now we're about, I don't know, 150 yards or so from my tree stand. And it sure would be sweet to someday have a nice broadside shot at a real nice mature deer. Now, right, wrong, or indifferent, I like eating deer way more than I like antlers. But obviously, I'd be lying if I didn't say I was hoping that this makes bigger bucks on my property. Now some of these cuttings are pretty short, and most of them I can see I have tips here, but say you've got a section of cutting, you can look at the barbs and the way they grow here and know that they're growing up. They're always going to grow up. See this one? I gotta flip it over, stick it in the ground. All of these will go this way. But sometimes if you don't know which way you took a cutting, or if you just, you can look at the barbs, those nodules coming out, and tell which way is up. Now that I marked these, I'll be able to find them later to check on them next time we tune in. Have a nice day.